I think it's a process. I think early on you probably beat yourself up longer. I was harder on myself than anyone else was going to be. I was more critical with myself because I expected a lot out of myself. So I probably had a tendency early on to beat myself up a lot more if I made a mistake or if I had a bad game. I didn't like that feeling, and I always tell the kids too. You have to do whatever it takes to prepare yourself so that you don't have to feel like this. I just did not like that feeling. So I wanted on a consistent basis to get myself mentally prepared, physically ready, because I didn't like that feeling. And and I owed it to my teammates and to myself and my coach to be ready mentally for each game and physically for each game. And you have to hate that feeling. Hate the feeling of losing, hate the feeling of making mistakes or letting your team down. And then I got to a point where I was able to kind of focus for about a half an hour after the game, have some downtime, whether I was in the car driving home from a home game or in a bus riding home, and I would kind of go over what I needed to do or what I didn't do well. I mean, the game is broken up in many parts. I mean, when you're, the first centerman, you can kind of look at how you did on faceoffs, how you did defensively, how you did offensively. Did you help create chances? Did you help create plays? Did you take, penalties? Did you create penalties? So there's a lot of ways of breaking down. When you're playing the game, you can't think of all those things at once. You have to kind of just be in that moment, in the zone, and focus on each shift. But it is good to kind of reflect. And so I would probably take a half an hour and then kind of calm down and then say, okay, this is what I need to do better. And this is what I got to be more prepared for. And this is how I need to spend my time. And really time management afterwards. And then the key is then mentally being able to push it aside. And, okay, let's focus at the task at hand. And then when you go back into practice the next day, you revisit it. Okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to work on? What do I need to do to get myself better and focus on these areas so that in the next game, I'm really ready to bring my level of play up and consistently. And so that's kind of how I've learned. And I really, as play went on and as my career went on, I tried to, set that bar at a high level. And it's not the highs and lows, because I was always taught at a young age, you don't ride the highs and don't ride the lows, because if you get too excited, you're going to ride the lows a lot longer. Find that even keel where you can bring your A game every night, consistently, every shift, every period, where you can find a healthy mindset, where you don't get too high and you don't get too low. And if you can find that as a player, whatever you do in life, whatever it is professionally, find that mindset where you can bring your best game consistently, game in and game out, and you don't get to yourself too high if you have a good game, and you don't get too low, and you can be consistent. I think over 82 games and over a career, that's one of the most important things to be able to do. If you're going to get it on the roller coaster, you're going to be on the lows a lot longer. So find that happy mindset, that consistent mindset. Strive for consistency and bring in your best game each night, each period, each shift. And that probably more than anything helped me to go to those next levels. If I could put together 2 or 3 good games, why can't I do this for 10? If I could put together a good quarter of the season, why can't I do that for the whole season or half the season? Why, and all of a sudden, you took these 5-game segments, they turn into 5, 10-game segments, and then all of a sudden they turn into, wow, you're having a good season. And then you finish the season, wow, I put together a real strong, consistent year. Why can't I do that next year? And why can't I do it the year? And so you kind of build yourself mentally and physically to the point where your confidence level is at a consistent high level. I heard one thing that was great. When you can make great your average, you're doing pretty good. And I don't know if great is the right word, but if you can make very good or consistent high level of play your average, you're on your way.